And when he was demanded of the Pharisees when the kingdom of God should come, he answered them and said, The kingdom of God cometh not with observation, neither shall they say, Lo here, or Lo there, but behold, the kingdom of God is within you. Isaiah 32. Behold, a king shall reign in righteousness, and princes shall rule in judgment.
Because, amen, we angels too. We're just wrapped in this flesh, but we have that angelic spirit within us, man. The difference between an angel and us, they don't have the flesh. They're already perfected, okay? They're spirits of fire. That spirit is within these earthen vessels that we hold right now, okay? And we're fighting to get back in that state which we had from before, that glory which we had from before. Only difference is we're going to rule in planet Earth in new flesh. All right, so we're going to have those angelic spirits that we have right now in newer, sinless flesh. All right, we're going to be perfected as our Lord and Savior, Yahushua, is perfected. And he's going to rule in the planet Earth with 144,000 ruling under him, all being perfected in perfect flesh with the angelic spirits, with angelic power. Okay?
But now hath he obtained a more excellent ministry, by how much also he is the mediator of a better covenant, which was established upon better promises. For if that first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second. For finding fault with them, he saith, Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel, and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith the Lord. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my laws into their mind, and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a God, and they shall be to me a people.
God.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Kakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders, GMS, who rule well, teach well, being great examples to us younger brothers. And peace and blessing and salutation to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word in truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua. Pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful lake double believers or listeners who may have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai. And what I want to get into today, all right, is seeing some videos that brothers been putting up. I know you brothers and you sisters have seen, NATO pretty much telling, Europe, okay, to prepare for war. All right. And to understand, why NATO is in this sense of urgency, we have to understand what Russia is doing in Ukraine. Now, you don't hear a lot about, what Russia, all right, is doing in Ukraine anymore. There was, the talk of the news, okay, those first, several months after Russia went into Ukraine. And now you hear mostly about, the back and forth between, the IDF and Hamas and all those resistant groups, okay, over there in their region, in Israel, Yemen, Houthi rebels, that's the talk now. And all this war, okay, is connected. It all plays out, according to prophecy of Yahweh Bashim al Shah. Okay. So this war that we're seeing, because World War III, is we're in it. Okay. It just hasn't got to the point, all right, to where it's major regional conflicts. Okay. But you have two major fronts that's happening in real time in this world war. And you have what's going on there, like I say, in the land of Israel with IDF, and all the, Hezbollah and, Hamas and the Houthi rebels, okay, Iran, the resistance forces that's in Iraq and Syria, okay, that's one front of the war. And then you have the front that's happening with Russia and Ukraine. And see, these are kinetic wars, you know, and I looked up that term kinetic because we always hear that term kinetic, non-kinetic. Well, I looked up that term. Um, Let me see. Hold on. All right. So when you go into a kinetic war, okay, it says in U.S. military parlance, the term kinetic generally refers to missiles or other traditional types of weapon systems that physically engage targets. Okay, and this is the war. The war is kinetic. Okay, the war that those small hats are in. Okay, against them Arabs. I'll just say that because, like I said, all those resisting groups in their region. Okay, and what are they resisting? The oppression and the tyranny of those small hats, man. Okay, of the occupiers. All right, and the war, like I say, is kinetic now. Okay, that's a kinetic war. What's happening with Russia and Ukraine? That's kinetic. Now you got non-kinetic. All right, whereas non-kinetic tools can include cyber, okay, electronic warfare and other means of attack. Okay, that's non-kinetic. All right, but what we're seeing with those two fronts is these two fronts. All right, that we're going to go into. Well, mainly we're going to go into why NATO, is taking this stance of war preparation. Okay, because of what's happening in Ukraine. Ukraine didn't go like the NATO expected. You see, NATO was trying to be slick and, pretty much use Ukraine, as a launch pad and a storehouse to house weapons. Okay, right there on the doorsteps of Russia. And Russia peeped game. So they were like, look, y'all tripping. All right, get that hardware out of here. All right, don't try to get Ukraine to join NATO. Okay. Putin told them, look, that's a red line. And if you do that, we gotta act. So the West, all right, proud as they are, NATO and America, they kept bringing in arms, they kept weaponizing Ukraine. So Russia was like, well, bet, Putin was like, bet, we coming in. So when Russia invaded, and what you had NATO and America pretty much um, financing Ukraine, all right, and supplying weaponry, all right, to Ukraine in the hopes that Ukraine could cripple the Russian military. Okay, but the exact opposite happened. You got 1,800 Russian, all right, men joining the military every day. And on the flip side, with Ukraine, Ukraine had lost 400,000 men. Okay, let that sink in. 400,000 men. Okay, so Russia now is taking the stance. Well, look, Russia is now taking territory and everything over there, man. And we're going to get into the videos. I'm going to get into the videos, and they're going to expound on it. Then we'll get a couple of precepts. But I want to start off real quick. If a brother could get Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1, and then post verse 8. Post verse 1, and then post verse 8. And I get this precept by this brother. This the brother GMS Shah Lakama. Isaiah 9 and 5 said, "For every battle the warriors will confuse noise and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire." Okay, and we're going to see a lot of missiles used in this war, even before it gets nuclear, before they start letting them nukes fly, because that's the grand finale. All right, well, this is going to be a different type of warfare. There's going to be a lot more drones, okay, and there's going to be a lot more missiles, coming from aircraft carriers and submarines. All right, the Navy, destroyer ships, okay, surface to surface missiles. You know, it's gonna be this is gonna be a lot of arrows, all right, modern day arrows flying all over the place, man. All right. And these nations got long range, short range, intermediate, anything that you can think of, man. Okay. Especially Russia, China, and Iran. Okay. Now, yep, the water, brother. This is the brother follow the Lamb 144, Ecclesiastes 3 and 1 says, "To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven." Okay. So the Lord has different seasons, okay, that he brings about certain events. Okay, and right now we're in the season of war. All right. Verse 8, Ecclesiastes 3 and 8, a time of love, a time to hate, a time of war, and a time of peace. Okay, and right now we're in the time of war. We're in the season of war. All right, because there's one more major world war that the Lord, all right, has prophesied, man. And He's bringing it about to pass, man. And it's already started. It's just gradually, escalating, man. To the point of just all out world, all right, war. Now, I got a couple of videos I want to play because, like I said, the brothers been posting videos going into NATO. All right, and we're going to go into why is NATO taking this stand? Why is NATO has this sense of urgency? Okay,
Approximately.
now this is from the other brother, Mawatazak, out of the LA camp, the head brother out of the LA camp. This is a channel. All right, let me pull it up. Yep, GMS Mawatazak Bun Guide 2. Subscribe, be edified, be informed, on what's going on. He's one of those brothers, that's tapped into the current events, so be edified in the scriptures, and be formed on what's going on. This GMS Mawatazak Bun Guide 2. All right, so
Approximately 90.
let me start this from the beginning. Start about right here. Let it ride into it. All right, so yeah, let's listen to this, and then there's another brother, my brother Amawan Gabar, GMS Awakening 144. He posted video as well. So we're gonna play these two videos, and we're gonna see the urgency with NATO, and we're gonna go into why. I said, Lord, well, this is informative and edifying.
Within the clip, I clipped that video in as well, so you can.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the military committee The Chiefs of Defense session has just drawn to a close. We will start off this press conference with an opening.
We today announced the kickoff of Exercise Steadfast Defender 2024, which commences next week and runs through May. Steadfast Defender 2024 will be the largest NATO exercise in decades, with participation from approximately 90,000 forces from all 31 allies, plus our good partner, Sweden. The alliance will demonstrate its ability to reinforce the Euro-Atlantic area via transatlantic movement of forces from North America. This reinforcement will occur during a simulated emerging conflict scenario against a near-peer adversary. Steadfast Defender 24 will be a clear demonstration of our unity, our strength, and our determination to protect each other, to protect, of course, our values and the rules-based international order.
Industrial base that is able to produce weapons and ammunition fast enough. Sorry, the big difference with a year ago, I would say, Terry, is that there's a lot of things that have happened in the armed forces and in the defense organizations. What hasn't happened is in our societies, the understanding that it is more than the military that has to be able to operate in a conflict or in a war. It is the whole of society that will get involved, whether we like it or not. That realization, we didn't talk about that much a year ago. If you look back to last year, what has happened in our alliance with regard to the battle groups that we set up, if you look back to the training, the fact that we now have Steadfast Defender with 90,000 troops, that is a record number. That is a record number of troops that we can bring to bear and have an exercise with in that size. Across the alliance, across the ocean, from the US to Europe, in Europe. That is a big change.
And then at the back.
Thanks a lot. I guess for Admiral Bauer, for General Cavoli.
People find it a surprise and as a result buy a radio on batteries. That is great. It is part of the package that the Swedish government is talking about. You need to have water, you need to have a radio on batteries, and you need to have a flashlight on batteries to make sure that you can survive the first 36 hours. Things like that. That's simple things. But it starts there. The realization that not everything is plannable, not everything is going to be hunky-dory in the next 20 years. I'm not saying it is going wrong tomorrow, but we have to realize it's not a given that we are in peace. And that's why we have the plans.
Thank you all very much. That's all we have time for this session. I want to remind everybody that
All right, so pretty much, all right, what you have, is NATO, they're pretty much getting ready to do a drill with 90,000 troops, America, Europe, okay, and pretty much they're gearing up because Ukraine didn't go like they expected, okay, and Ukraine was a failure, all right, so now we're seeing them, all right, prepare to transfer troops, okay, NATO troops, to mobilize NATO troops and have them in the region, man. Okay. So he made another point that, look, the citizens, you citizens, y'all gonna have to get some water, okay, flashlight. He said everybody getting involved in this, just as the brother, posted. All right, GMS Sharlock Isaiah 9:5. For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. Okay, and when these missiles start flying, all right, they're going to be shutting off grids. Okay, they're going to be shutting down trade. The Houthi rebels are showing you, all right, if the Houthi rebels can blow up cargo ships, what can these superpowers of the world do? Okay, what you think is going to be happening, with the world trade routes? Okay, as war escalates. Okay, the war is going to impact everyday society. And see, Americans are used to America being at war with everyone, but not being affected. Okay, but this war is going to have an effect, all right, on citizens, man. Okay, brother can post it. You know how they bride and they bride's groom should die in the war. All right, brother, post that, and I'll get this real quick in Isaiah, and then we'll get the other clip. Cue up this other clip. All right, from GMS Awakening. All right, so let's go here real quick. Let's get this in Isaiah. All right, because you know the citizens are used to, especially in the West, Europeans and America, they're used to America and NATO, being at war with these other nations and not being affected. But this war is gonna have a major effect on the West, man. A major effect. All right. This is Isaiah 47:8. All right, speaking to Babylon, the daughter of Babylon, America, man. It said, therefore, hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thy heart, I am and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. Okay? That's another thing. You gotta understand, Ukraine has lost 400,000 men. Okay? 400,000. All right? That's the like I said, down here in Jackson, I think the population like 150,000. Okay, they almost tripled it in casualties, and those men, those are husbands, uncles, brothers, okay, workers. There's a major effect on the economy, man. Okay, I believe America's active military is like 430,000. Okay, men are gonna men are gonna die. Military men are gonna die at a rapid rate in this war, man. Okay, the destructive power that these nations got is on another level. Verse 9 said, but these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day. The loss of children and widowhood, they shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries and for the great abundance of thine enchantments, man. Okay, the Lord, World War III, okay, is going to bring about major suffering and judgment from on high. Okay, and the everyday citizens, okay, are going to be affected. I think it's another one. Let me see. In here, let me see. Yep, this is it got a few times. Yep. This is this Jeremiah 40, it's Jeremiah 50 and 34. All right. It says their Redeemer is strong. All right, the Redeemer of Israel, the Lord of hosts is his name. He shall thoroughly plead their cause, which is going to judge our cause. And World War III is going to be the circumstances. All right, that's going to be when the Lord judges the earth. This is when he's going to ultimately judge these heathens, man. Okay, and this is just the beginning of their judgment. All right, they're going to be destroyed. Their militaries are going to be destroyed in this third world war, and the remnant of these heathens go into captivity. Okay, and America is going to be completely wiped off the map. It says their Redeemer is strong. The Lord of hosts is his name. He shall thoroughly plead their cause, that he may give rest to the land and disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon. Okay, so you citizens of Babylon, you people that inhabit America, okay, you're finna suffer, man. This war is gonna bring a suffering to you, man. Okay, it says the sword is upon the Chaldeans, said the Lord Yahweh Bashim Shah of hosts. And all right, and it says, and upon the inhabitants of Babylon, and upon her princes, and upon her wise men. Okay, and this is all right, what the Lord has in store, okay, for you Americans, man, you inhabitants of the daughter of Babylon, man, mystery Babylon the Great, okay. So you inhabitants, all right, are going to suffer from this war, man. Okay, you're not going to, just glance at the war, okay, then change to the game, and do your TikTok challenge, and all right, go to work in the morning. Nah, man, it's going to be suffering. All right, this world war is going to play a major part in global suffering, man. Okay, so yeah. Let me play this other video real quick and get some more brothers precepts. Okay, brother got that. This is the brother Father Lamb, 2nd Ezra 16:33 said, the virgins shall mourn having no bridegrooms, and the women shall mourn having no husbands, their daughters shall mourn having no helpers. And this has already begun. 400,000 men. How many husbands is that, man? How many of those men you think were husbands, man? Okay, or if they wasn't married, there was, but potential husbands, man. Okay, men is engaged. Okay, and that's beginning now. All right, but it doesn't seem like a reality because it doesn't affect, the day-to-days of America, man. So that reality, all right, there's suffering that's happening in one place on the other side of the earth. People, all right, are numb to it, man, oblivious to it. Okay, so I'm gonna play this, all right, and then we're gonna go into, what's been happening in Ukraine that has NATO, all right, moving with this urgency, man.
NATO has warned civilians to prepare for conflict and make sure to have equipment to survive the first 36 hours of what may come. According to the head of NATO Military Committee, Admiral Rob Bauer, it's not a given that we are in peace. And this is why NATO countries are preparing for a conflict with Russia and terror groups. The British government also confirmed that we are in a pre-war era. British Defence Minister Grant Shapps noted that the world could be engulfed by multiple wars involving Russia, China, North Korea, and Iran in the next 5 years, and the NATO has to increase its defence spending to at least 2% of national income. And just a week ago, Sweden's defence officials asked citizens to prepare for war and an end to 210 years of peace. Is this why billionaires are building bunkers? But for ordinary citizens who could barely afford a roof, let alone a bunker, what is their hope?
Shalom.
A time for war, all right, and not peace. Sweden Sweden has went through 210 years of peace, man. But it ain't a time of peace anymore. It's a time of war. All right. And then the Lord got it to where, you getting involved. All right. Oh, you getting involved. Okay, everybody. Okay, it's that time of war, and Sweden is right there. So they finna get that work from Russia, man. Okay. So yeah, man, NATO is booting up. So I got a few videos, and it's gonna this is my boy Scott Ritter. He's pretty good. Brothers, into following what's going on. I follow him, pretty much almost every other day. Just check him out. But he got some good info. Ex-Marine commander. He's a former UN weapons inspector. So he got some sources. He's boots on the ground. So he's gonna have a real perspective, all right, and knowledge of what's going on, all right. So I'm gonna let him play about a 5-minute clip I want to get. Just running about. So yeah, I'm gonna let him run for about 5-6 minutes, and then he's just gonna explain some things, and we'll sum it up, and just go into the precepts, man. This is where we at, okay?
The Leopards. You remember the Leopard? It was that invincible German tank that was going to change the course. No, territory. It understands that in war, on occasion, the enemy can get tactical and sometimes even operational superiority. And when that happens, the smart military leader says, gosh, we probably should withdraw to better defensive ground over here, consolidate our lines, get some fire support in, and break it up. So they withdraw, and it's done in a pre-planned area. You go back to positions you've already decided you're going to fall back on. You have fire support coming in, and you break up the Ukrainian attacks. Ukrainians get some territory, but then they all die. Then the Russians counterattack and get the territory back. That's what's been going on. And so, Blinken is trying to lead us to believe that the Russians have made no gains. I don't know. 400,000 dead Ukrainians sounds like a lot of gains to me. Hundreds of tanks, including, the Leopards. You remember the Leopard? It was that invincible German tank that was going to change the course. No, they're all burning. The Bradley, not Bradley. Oh, it's burning. The Martyr, it's burning. I mean, you can come up with all the little names they got. They're all burning. They're out of ammunition. They're out of armor. They're out of everything. They're out of people. That's why we were talking about, Hodges talking about the need to get women and old men and everything to replicate what the Germans were doing in 44. It wasn't, I saw a comment, wasn't just about the Russians, the Germans producing more tanks. It was about the mobilization of Germany in 44, the Volkssturm and all this wonderful stuff that was, led to the death of a lot of Germans that didn't need to die. And that's where the Ukrainians are right now with mobilization. I mean, where are they going to come from? The people don't want to fight. I guess there's 270,000 military-age men who fled Ukraine that the Ukrainians are trying to get back in. But do you really think these guys are going to be motivated? I mean, again, war is...
Let me show you how we do stuff around here. Actually, my department uses Monday.com, so I'm good. A work management tool? No.
Yeah, everybody talks about superior equipment. I always say that the equipment is nice, but what's more important is the quality of the foot in the boot. Because that's how you win wars. You don't win wars with a beautiful gleaming tank. You win wars with a guy that knows what he's doing, a guy who's physically fit, a guy who's mentally has mental capacity, who wants to be there, who's motivated to be there, who believes in the mission, who is trained to do this. Ukrainians are getting 13, 14 days basic training. That's it. If they're lucky, they can you get that at a NATO course, 14 days, and then they come back and they're given a couple weeks to learn this new equipment. Then they're thrown into the battlefield. The Russians, meanwhile, when they were mobilized, if you had recent military experience, you put through sort of a refresher course to prove that you knew how to do A, B, and C, and then you were sent in as a individual replacement. The rest of the guys were put together into units and put through months of training. Some of them have yet to be committed into combat, and they continuously be retrained. The Russians are pulling units out of the front line, sending them to a training zone to update them on tactics. Larry, you probably drone warfare. What drone warfare was when the conflict started and what it is today is two totally different things. It's a revolution in warfare, what's going on with drones right now. And if you aren't training for it, if you're not preparing for it, adapting this to your tactics and operations, you're going to die. So the Russians are doing this all the time. They're the most well-trained, they're the most combat-hardened military force in the world today. There's nothing that comes remotely close to what the Russians are. And Tony Blinken thinks that the Russians are losing. The Russians have broken the Ukrainian military. The Ukrainian military has suffered a strategic defeat. What's happening now is that Russia is starting to push steadily. The Ukrainians have admitted they can't continue the counteroffensive. They've gone back on what they call the strategic defense, but it's not a defense in depth. Who is the Ukrainian equivalent of General Alexander Romanchuk, the former deputy commander, 5th Aid Army, went to the Combined Arms Academy, was pulled out of the Combined Arms Academy after he rewrote Russian defensive doctrine, took charge of the Zaporizhia front right by the Robotyno area, and built the defense that crushed the Ukrainian counteroffensive. This is a genius in military. Who is the Ukrainian equivalent? They've all been working on the counteroffensive. Suddenly they're going to go over on the defensive. But have they thought it through? Have they prepared it? They're digging trenches. They're putting things out. It looks good. But I can guarantee you, A, they don't have the reserves necessary to do what, to make a flexible defense work. They're looking at fixed defensive lines. The Russians will break through these lines. When the Russians break through, where is the Ukrainian counterattack? They don't have anything anymore. They got no more brigades. They're not making any more brigades. They ran out of money. They ran out of tanks. They ran out of men. When the Russians break through, the Ukrainians got nothing. This war's over, but that doesn't mean that it's all over. I'll give you an example. I think everybody can concede that after the Battle of the Bulge, it was known that Germany couldn't defeat the West. I mean, after the Battle of Kursk in 1943, it was known that Germany couldn't defeat Russia. The strategic initiative had changed. What was the bloodiest month for American troops in World War II in the European zone? Was it June when they went across Normandy? No. Was it December when they fought the Battle of the Bulge? Nope. Was it in March when they were fighting Hurtgen Forest? Nope. It was April, the last month of the war. April 1945 was the bloodiest month for Americans in the Western Theater. Why? The Germans were defeated, strategically defeated. It was done. There was no one. Vegas wouldn't allow any odds on Germany winning this war. That's how bad it was. And yet the Germans killed more Americans that month. Why? Because there's a lot of fight left in a dying animal. So the implication when I say that Ukraine is defeated, people go, but they're still fighting, Scott. Yeah, and they may fight for months, but it's over. They literally, the strategic initiative has gone over to Russia, and Blinken's just deluding himself when he talks about, and it's not just at the defeat of the Russian army. Vladimir Putin said something very interesting the other day. He said that Odessa is a Russian city. Now, the thing about Putin is he doesn't waste words. Vladimir Putin's not a guy that go out and say things. He's not an American politician trying to impress people. When he speaks, his words have meaning, and he says nothing lightly. So when Vladimir Putin comes out and says, no, Odessa's a Russian city, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Odessa's going to be a Russian city. That means this war ain't over till Russia takes Odessa, fills off the Black Sea coast. Now, why would Russia want to do this? Oh, maybe because Great Britain and the United States helped Ukraine turn the Odessa area into a platform to threaten the Russian fleet in Sevastopol and make Crimea, to make things untenable in Crimea. Russia will never allow, ever again, Ukraine to be used in that fashion. So this war cannot end until Russia eliminates Odessa and the Black Sea coast as being a potential strategic zone of operations to threaten Crimea. Crimea is very important to Russia. So Black Sea, Ukraine's lost it. This war won't end until they have it. I spoke to a senior Russian who says he thinks that that offensive may begin sometime in the May-June time period. Now, why that long? Well, I don't know, because if you're going to take Odessa, you got to take Mykolaiv. If you're going to take Mykolaiv, you got to take Dnipropetrovsk. If you take Dnipropetrovsk, you got to secure Kharkov. And so now we just identified what the Russians are going to do. Kharkov, Dnipropetrovsk, Mykolaiv, Odessa. Secure Donetsk, recapture Kherson. You get the right bank of Kherson as you come down through Mykolaiv. You secure Zaporizhia. Ukraine's going to have to lose another 20-25% of its territory by the time this is done. Not because Russia started out that. As I said, Russia had no intention of doing this. This is what NATO caused. This is what happens when you give Ukraine $220 billion worth of military equipment and financial assistance to take on the Russians. When you do that, you sacrificed Ukraine. Ukraine is a strategically defeated nation. We're looking at not just military disaster, but a political disaster. Zelensky is going down the drain.
So that's what's been happening in Ukraine. They've been talking about it. Well, Russia, they started off, with a campaign just to disarm NATO military hardware that was in Ukraine. Okay, but like I say, NATO and America kept feeding Ukraine with weaponry and money. All right, so Russia just became more aggressive. Okay, to the point to now they're taking Ukraine territory. Now, before we get into Ezekiel 38, all right, and a few more, I want to get this map, all right, to show what's happening. Okay, let me see if I can. Let me share. All right. I'm trying to blow it up. Y'all let me know if y'all can see the map. You know, if it's clear on y'all end. You know, here we go. Yep. Map I can move. All right. Well, y'all let me know the map is showing up clear on y'all end. So we can see, you know, the way Russia. All right. Okay, come. All right. So when you look at the map, all right, and what do you have? Russia. Okay, you see Russia. Now you see Ukraine is here. Now Ukraine is strategic for Russia because Ukraine has a lot of flatlands. Okay. And if Russia ever wanted to do an invasion on Europe, Ukraine would be the ideal path. Okay. And the West knew that. You know, that's why they wanted to weaponize Ukraine. Now you got Belarus to the north. They're already pro-Russian. Okay. Belarus already has Russian military hardware, all right, stage. Okay. They have nuclear fighter jets. Okay. And there's no telling what else. Okay. And what you have with Eastern Europe, okay, because NATO was created, you know, to be pretty much a security guard for Europe, all right, from any, you know, Russian hostility. But what's happening, Russia, okay, as the scriptures say, hooks are in their jaws, you know, and the Lord is bringing Russia forward, okay, just as he was speaking about the end. They were like, well, if you take this, all right, if you take this, you gotta take that. If you take this, you gotta take that. So it's not going to stop at Ukraine. Ukraine is just the beginning. Ukraine, all right, is just the threshold to get into Europe. And one thing that these European nations know, that they don't stand a chance with Russia. There's nothing they can do with Russia. Okay, Poland, finished. All right, Hungary, Bolivia, Romania, finished. And you look at, all right, Russia controls the Black Sea, and who else is in the Black Sea? Turkey, which is an ally to who? Russia. Okay, so Russia is bleeding over into Europe. Okay, and Europe can't is not going to be able to do anything with Russia, man. Okay, so now that Russia is pretty much, Ukraine is done. Okay, Ukraine is finished. You know, you can pretty much, you know, consider they're Russia now. Okay, Ukraine is finished. Now, remember, you have Turkey as an ally, and Turkey is right bordering Syria. Okay, then you have Iraq, which you have Iran working out of Iraq. Okay, you have Iran and Syria. All right, then you come down here, you have Yemen, and this is where you know Yemen is kicking up dust down here. Okay, well, guess what? All these are against these small hats, man. So this war that we see with Russia and Ukraine, it's going to bleed into this region as well, because the Lord is summoning all these nations, okay, to this region, okay, of the earth, man, for war. All right, and who's going to show up when these nations are summoned to this region? Yahweh Shai. Okay, so what's happening with Russia and Ukraine, okay, is going to play a part into what's happening with the Israelis. All right, these small hats and this regional conflict, you know, with Hezbollah. Okay, can't forget Hezbollah, man, right there in Lebanon. Okay, all this activity that we see in this region, okay, is all spoke about in the scriptures, man. you know, and it's all formulating to the valley, all right, Yahweh Shaphat, you know, which is in this region of eastern, no, well, western Syria, okay, right, by Lebanon, you know, in a little piece of Israel, okay. This is what all roads lead to, okay. So, yeah, just wanted to show that. So let's get a few prophecies and uh, uh, uh get a few prophecies. So when you go to, all right, let's get Joel. All right, this is the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse verse 9. All right, Joel 3 and 9 said, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war. Wake up the mighty man, let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. So this is what's being done in the earth. And remember the Lord, all right, Yahweh Shai, all right, the Heavenly Father through Yahweh Shai, you know, dispatches the angels to stir up, okay, a spirit of war in the earth, you know, and this is what we're seeing. Everything is being prepared and geared towards war. The mighty men are waking up. Like I said, Russia, okay, is adding 1,800 men a day, while Ukraine is losing tens of thousands of men. Russia is adding 1,800 men a day. Okay, there's a spirit in the earth, man. The Lord is playing on the spirits of men to fulfill His prophecy, man. He said, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I'm strong. Okay? All these nations that, you know, was irrelevant militarily, all right, now have a presence, you know, and Russia plays a major part. Look at the Houthi rebels. Okay? The Houthi rebels, man. All right, is getting a response out of America and UK. Okay, the weak saying we are strong. Hezbollah got them small heads shaking in their boots. Okay, one of them small heads, one of their worst fear is a head-to-head conflict with Hezbollah, man. All right, and Hezbollah tore their ass up in 2006, man. You know, look it up. Okay, so almost 20 years later, you know, 18 years later, man, what you think it's gonna be? All right, because the Israelis, their military. You see, the West. One thing about the West, it's a different type of man over there in the East than it is in the West. Okay, these Peter Griffin, you know, Carl Winslow, you know, goddamn Dimbads. Okay, in the West. Okay, soccer dads, you know, them niggas, man, they not built, okay, for that spirit that the Lord got on them men in the East, man. Okay, there's a completely different spirit over there, man. All right, verse 11 says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about, till the cause of mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be awakened and come to the valley of Jehoshaphat, which is Yahweh Shaphat, you know, Yahweh's judgment. Shaphat going into judgment. Okay, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. And how is he going to judge them? Through Yahweh Shai. Okay, Yahweh Shai is going to bring his throne, that chariot, to the earth, man, and judge. He's going to judge from that chariot, man. All right, and he's going to run through all you heathens, man. Okay, from Russia to North Korea or whoever, Yahweh Shai going to run through all you heathens. But the America, before Yahweh Shai returns, man, America finna get that work. Okay, NATO, and it's either you gotta think even EU gonna shoot missiles on America, man, because EU gonna suffer because of what America is doing. You see, America be going way over there, starting that shit, then come back here and watch the goddamn, you know, the 49ers play the Lions. Okay, they go over there and start all that shit, and then they come over here and chill. you know, and these nations gonna be like, nah, man, hell no. You know, and they're gonna blow this bitch off the map. Okay? And it's this Joel 3 and 12 said, let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Put ye in your sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come get you down, for the press is full, the fast overflow, for their wickedness is great. You know, and the reason why the Lord is going to allow so much, destruction and death in this war, because of the wickedness, all right, that plagues the earth, man. This war is going to cleanse the earth, all right, because Yahweh Shai and the angels, they're going to be destroying infrastructure, destroying people as well. Okay? Lord will, we have front row seats in the chair. We have those skybox seats in the chairs, man. You know, this is what we're fighting for. Okay? It says, multitudes upon multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision, man. And this is what we're seeing. Okay? The Lord, hey, the time when we see war constantly escalating, that's Yahweh Shai getting closer to his second coming, man. All right, so let's go here in Ezekiel. Okay, this is what we're seeing playing out. The wheel, all right, of Yahweh Shai Shai playing out. All right, Ezekiel 38:1. Okay. All right, Ezekiel 38:1, it says, and the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against against Gog in the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him. So the Lord is against Russia too, you know, but he's using, all right, Russia strategically for prophecy, man. Okay, as these nations use, proxy militaries to do particular things, all right, the Lord used these nations as his proxies before he sent Yahweh Shai, man. All right, and it says, and say, thus said the Lord power, behold, I'm against thee, O God, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks in thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth. So it's the Lord that's bringing Russia forth, man. That's why Russia, they can't do nothing with Russia, man, because the Lord is bringing Russia forth. Okay? It says, in all thy army, horses and horsemen, that military hardware, man, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, with a great company with bucklers and shields. And that's the spirit, because you go into the shield is used as a defense. And Russia has the best missile defense, all right, systems in the world. Far more superior than America and NATO, all right, defense systems, man. Okay? So the Lord has created this war machine with Russia, man. Okay, Gog and Magog. Okay, you look into the S-300s, the S-500s. You know, I ain't looked at them in a while. You know, I used to look at them quite often. All right, but these let's see. We got a quick video. You know, and these military systems, they've given these military systems to Iran. All right, China. Okay. Let's look at it real quick. It's a quick one, Let's see. So this supposed to be the S-500. Let me see.
Russia begins developing the S-500 Promedy anti-ballistic missile system for long-range air defense. The S-500 anti-ballistic missile system was developed by the Almaz Anti company known as Tramfader M. The first S-500 anti-ballistic missile systems were deployed in the vicinity of Moscow to protect the Russian capital and its surrounding areas from ballistic missile attacks. Now, mass production of the S-500 system begins, and Russia plans to field 10 S-500 missile battalions in the next few years. The S-500 anti-ballistic missile system is not an upgrade of the S-400, but a new design. The S-500 uses many new technologies and is superior to the S-400 and is designed to intercept ballistic missiles. Some sources claim that the S-500 system is capable of tracking 5 to 20 ballistic targets and intercepting up to 5 to 10 ballistic targets simultaneously. Even the S-500 is capable of defeating ballistic missiles, traveling at speeds of 5 to 7 kilometers per second. The S-500 missile has a range of 500 to 600 kilometers and reaches targets at an altitude of 40 kilometers. This air defense system can also target low-orbit satellites and can neutralize offensive weapons. The S-500 missile will only be used against the most important targets, such as intercontinental ballistic missiles, AWACS, and jamming aircraft. The S-500 missile system carries a variety of missiles that have various ranges and are used against different targets. The S-500 missile system has a short reaction time, being able to launch a missile within 10 minutes of travel. The S-500 missile is mobile and all equipment will be transported by heavy trucks with high mobility.
Yeah, man. So just a little visual. Okay, those bucklers and shields. You know, and they say they're capable of knocking down low orbiting satellites, man. Okay. Yeah. Russia got Vince Carter with a man jumping out the gym. Okay. And they can go offensive, you know, they can shoot down targets as well as, you know, strike targets, man. You know, and that's just what they let us see. So if we seen the S-500, all right, you know, when real war break out, they gonna whip out a S-2000 on your ass, man. All right, and get to work. Okay, so but yeah, the spirit of the Lord, you know, is on Russia. Okay, because Russia plays a major part in end time prophecy, man. Okay, so we're seeing the prophecy. Okay, speak. You know, so reading Ezekiel 38:4 says, "And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thy army, horses and horsemen, and all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Persia, which is Iran, Ethiopia, and Libya, all right, and the African nations, all right, and Russia, you know, those African nations have been rebelling, you know, against, you know, Western, you know, politics in their country. You know, Russia swooped in, you know, like, look, I got some free rice for you niggas, man. Welcome to death row. You know, come to death row. You know, that's a spirit Russia been in. You know, everyone that has any type of problem with the West, okay, Putin coming that Suge Knight spirit, man. You know, you're tired of your president all in the videos, you know, come to death row, man. You see? So there's a spirit that he's been in, but they're just prophecy speaking, man. It says all of them with shield and helmet, all right, Gomar, which is Turkey, and all his bands in the house of Togomar of the North Court and all his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared and prepare for thyself. So Russia is extremely equipped. All right, the manpower, okay, the war mentality, and you know the war spirit amongst those men, okay, and the weaponry, man. It said, "Thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. Okay, so this is where we at, man. This is why we see, Russia, all right, dominating that region, man, because it's prophetic. All right, this is what the Lord wants. Okay, so yep, that's the point, for now. Lord will, you brothers. All right, and you sisters edified once again. I'm gonna give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Kakodash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessing, salutations to the hopeful elect. Shalom.